Thanks to the grace of heaven, virtuous masters, thanks to the mercy and compassion of the grand predecessor and predecessor, transmitting masters and everyone here for giving me the opportunity to share tonight's topic. Health eating, what to eat to become healthy. Why eating is an important topic. We all know how to eat, but do we know how to stay healthy by eating? We are lucky that we have reincarnated as humans. We have a knowledge in how the human body works. But this human form is only temporary. We will be lucky to make to our 80s or more. The life expectancy in the United States has lowered to 77.2 years. We need a healthy body to cultivate, and we need to live longer to be able to accumulate good karma. This human body is very fragile. We can easily be sick. We need to cultivate a mindset to eat healthy. We need to establish a set of attitudes and habits helped by ourselves. As human, we can choose what to eat. We can choose to eat healthy, balanced meal. Our Buddha nature does not need food or nutrition. Buddha nature is perfect, but our body does need nutrition and it's not perfect. Disclaimer. I'm not a certified dietitian or nutritionist. I work on a computer 8 to 5. I'm sitting on a chair most of the time. Learn how to cook after I got married. I'm not a master chef or an iron chef. I made a lot of mistakes. My family are the best and the worst critics of my cooking, but they are very honest. They don't care about my feelings. They will tell me if something's not good, but they will tell me if something's good. I will adjust ingredients and try again if it's not good. I learned what can be eaten. I read a lot of ingredients and all the time. I learned about the ingredients that's often overlooked, like gelatin. I avoid the 5 pungent vegetables, onions, garlic, leek, scallions, chives. I always double check the ingredients. I look for plant-based meals, ideas that research online. I would say my cooking is a cross-fusion meals. From Middle East to East Asian, I have Brazilian dishes with Asian finesse, all across countries and all type of cooking. What I eat may not be the same for everyone. An athlete will not eat the same things that I eat. Everyone's meal plan will vary based on your daily life. Consult your doctor before changing your diet. Everybody's built differently. Do get blood work. Check for lack of vitamins. Your doctor needs to know what to test for. My personal experience. I have been a vegetarian for 5 years. I don't miss eating meat. So my background of becoming vegetarian was not easy. I had a hard time switching to be a vegetarian. So what I did was I watched many videos related to being vegetarian. At the end of all the videos, I cry a lot. And at that point, I made a decision that I would not eat the meat anymore. I had been learning how to cook and eat as a vegetarian for 5 years. I'm still learning every day. And have no regret of my choice. I'm healthier and have not gained weight since I started this journey. I do sometimes gain a few pounds over the holiday, but I do lose right after. I have passion for other sentient beings and are able to keep my family healthier through the process. My everyday life, it's probably common to some people. I work in a place that have a decent sized cafeteria, but the only vegan options is salad or veggie burger. And that's not the best veggie burger you can eat. So my best options was for me to bring food from home. Not only save money, it's healthier, and also save time. When I travel for work, I had to research local options. I usually use Google or HappyCow app. I search for the locations that where I can eat. I also ask for recommendations from group chats. Once in a while, I do bring my own food. I have gone to restaurants and asked if they have vegetarian options. For many years, it was just pasta or salad. But now restaurants are adding more vegan options. I always check what kind of menu they have before going to the restaurants. My kids go to school every day, and the options they have is limited. So I send emails to the principal, ask the school for more vegetarian options, and during the school survey, we request for more vegetarian options, more seasonal vegetables and fresh vegetables. And I see it's working. I noticed that my son has told me that they have more vegetarian options these days now. So that's one way to get the schools to add more vegetarian options. I shared the not recent, but a couple years ago, I went to the hospital for a surgery. It was a short stay. I was a 5-day stay. I was on surgery was scheduled for Thursday, and I was scheduled to leave on the Tuesday because it was the weekend. The dietitian wasn't there. There was only the intern, and the intern did not know what to write for my diet. The dietitian only visited on the last day of my stay, like a Monday afternoon, but I was leaving on Tuesday. So I told the nurse of my diet restrictions, but because it was over the weekend, the shifts change day to day. So I did not have the same nurse that I asked on Friday for Saturday and Sunday. So by Monday, the only meals I have was what they provided. Most of the time was not vegetarian. I think the only vegetarian meal that I had was on the Monday afternoon, and that was the day before I was leaving. So yeah, options for a vegetarian is not out there, and we had to be prepared for all occasions. I don't do it alone. I have a social media to support my vegetarian habits. I have Facebook groups, or I join Facebook. There are many vegan and vegetarian groups that you can join. They're very helpful. They provide recipes and recommendations from local restaurants. I believe we also have a line group that it's members from Dao team members, and they also share cooking recipes, and they're very healthy. Doing this alone is very difficult. It's very important to have a group. Motivation in a group setting will help us succeed. If you're lonely, you can always watch YouTube videos for recommendations and some motivation. And if your friends and family share the same options of food, the chance of succeeding is higher. So let's understand our human body. We want to focus on the quality over quantity of food. It will work best if our body is healthy. Our body parts are all connected. The skeletal allow us to keep the human shape, move and walk around. The muscular system shape our body and move with the bones. The nervous system send message to control our movements and muscles. Endocrine controls what is needed in different parts of our body and organs. The cardiovascular system transport what's needed to the rest of the body. The lymphatic system works the cardiovascular, also transport and protect our body. The respiratory system brings the oxygen that's needed to keep us alive. Digestive system, we'll cover this more later, but this fuels our body. The urinary system filters the dirt out of our body. And the reproduction system. If one organ fails, the rest will follow. So we need to feed and fuel our body with the best food we can get. This is a picture of the digestive system. So before we look at what food we should eat, we need to know how is the food being processed. We need to understand how it works in our body. The digestive system is made up of digestive tract and other organs that help the body to break down and absorb the food. It's a long, twisted tube that starts at the mouth and goes through the esophagus, stomach, and small intestine, and large intestine, and the anus. Well, the food comes from the mouth, goes through esophagus, and goes to the stomach. In stomach, it makes a breakdown and into small pieces. The major function of the stomach is to store and digest the food and liquid that we consume throughout on the meal. The stomach produces a hydrochloric acid enzymes to help digest food and other foreign objects like the bacteria. The stomach muscle contracts at the regular intervals to jump the food, ingest it, and it does help in digestion. So how can we help the stomach process the food? We want the stomach to work less by eating smaller pieces of food. So like when we cook, we want to make smaller pieces. And when we eat, we want to chew more of the food. So the food is a smaller pieces. The less work by the stomach, the less contents of acids produced by the stomach. We also want to eat clean, fresh vegetables. One note here, I forgot to mention. So when we take medication, some medications work best with food, and there are some medications that does not work with other foods. So we want to be careful what we're eating when we are taking medication at the same time. The small intestine. It helps to further digest the food coming from the stomach, absorbs nutrients like vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Also absorbs the water from food so they can be used by the body. They also, it's longer than large intestine and has to process more of the food in the small intestine. There's a microsystem in our intestine built of bacteria, fungus, and virus. It's not just one type of bacteria, but many types of bacteria builds our microsystem, ecosystem. Many factors affect these microbes. Food is one of them. Digestive enzymes are produced by the pancreas and liver. The large intestine. There's a finger-like organ connected with the large intestine, and it's full of bacteria. If this appendix explodes, doctors need to react fast before it can spread to the rest of the organs. It's bad that all the bacteria that from the appendix gets spread to the rest of the body because all the bacteria can infect the rest of our body, and it can cause what we call appendicitis. So this bacterial reserve, it's there. Also, it's helpful to our body when we take antibiotics. A lot of the bacteria that's in our stomach and large intestine, small intestine, are killed by the medication. And because we have this storage of bacteria in the appendix, we still be able to process the food that comes through our meals. Food sits in the long intestine, a large intestine, longer before going to the colon. The purpose of the large intestine is to absorb water and salts from the materials that has been digested as the food and get rid of any waste products left over. By the time food mixes with digestive juices, your large intestine has been absorbed by the large intestine. We need to have a high fiber diet. It's very important. The fiber will lubricate the walls and soften the stools. Doctors recommend to have the colon checked at age 45 or above. It's colonoscopy is a painless procedure. It has been a misconception of many from the past that it's very painful. And colonoscopy should be done every 5 years. Balanced meal. Dietary fibers from food like fruits, vegetables, nuts, legumes, and whole grains are best fuel for our gut. They improve the immune function, make the lining of the digestive system push the food more smooth, reduce inflammation, reducing risk of cancer, and more fiber for bacteria friendly will be in our gut. Balanced meals, how to prepare the foods important. The less intervention to the fresh food is the better option. Steam, light or quick saute, or raw food can increase and benefit this bacteria in our stomach and intestine. Fermented food are loaded with the probiotics. So the food that we have right now to choose is natto. Natto is fermented beans. Kimchi is fermented vegetables. Sauerkraut, fermented vegetables. Tempeh, that's dry fermented beans. Kombucha, fermented tea. Yogurt or kefir, fermented milk, preferably the low sugar. The heat that we use to cook the food will kill the bacteria. So we want to use the heat as possible. Salt will kill the bacteria as well. Less salt is better. Making your own fermented food, it's an easy way to keeping these probiotics around the house. I make my own kimchi, and since local kimchi sold in local stores, they usually have onions, garlic, and scallions. So I had to, and some of them has fermented shrimps. So the way to make my own kimchi is I usually use 1 head of napa cabbage. I cut the kimchi in 4 pieces. And I soak them in salt water. I use like 5 spoons of salt and 1 cup of water. And then I try to spread as the kimchi with the salt as much as I can. Sometimes I had to use more salt to dehydrate the kimchi. I use rice starch to create a paste format. I use peppers, and I use radish and carrots. I also use one fruit as my fructose source. I use it, sometimes I use the Asian pear, and sometimes I use apple. I vary my fruit to give different flavors. And my starter for this, I use apple cider. I use one small spoon, a teaspoon, basically, as my starter for the fermentation. I usually take about 2 weeks for fermented vegetables. One balance. So all this combination of melatonin will not work for everyone. We need to check with the doctor and dietitian. Some people may be allergic or have some different reaction to some food. Food and medication can interact. Most of the medication works best with food. Some medication work best alone. Many medications are made from plants. Food as medicine. This is a few foods that can be eaten to prevent cancer because they have a high antioxidant content. Garlic contains powerful antioxidants like Eddison, proven to be remove free radicals from your body. Garlic has proven to kill cancer cells in lung cancer, breast cancer, stomach cancer, esophageal cancer, and colon cancer. Grapes, it's high in antioxidants and vitamin C. Tomatoes contain lycopene, which is an antioxidant, can prevent cancer. Tomatoes also reduce the risk of breast cancer, prostate cancer, pancreas cancer, and colorectal cancer. Avoid canned tomatoes. If you can, use fresh or buy glass tomatoes. Turmeric contains a compound named curcumin. It's anti-inflammatory and oxidative, and has oxidative effects, and it inhibits cancer cells. Carrots contain beta carotene, antioxidant that may slow the growth of cancer cells. Green tea also is great beverage to fight cancer. Many experts suggest green tea daily as a natural cancer preventive. Leafy greens are rich in antioxidants known to fight cancers, including vitamin C and beta carotene. You also have berries, another food of cancer fighting. They are rich in vitamins and antioxidants, which help to prevent cancer. To clean and detox lungs, you have beets. They are vibrant color root and greens of the beetroot plant, contain compounds that optimize lung function. Broccoli is high in vitamin C content, carotenoids, folate, and phytochemicals that fight damaging elements in lungs. Lemon, 2-3 drops of lemon juice a couple of times a day prevents congestion. It may help to treat bronchial and lung infection. Involves flu-like symptoms like cold and cough. Ginger is not only anti-inflammatory, but also helps detoxifying and promotes the elimination of pollutants from the lungs. Blueberries are loaded with the nutrients, and their consumption has been associated with a number of health benefits, including protecting and preserving lung function. Leafy green vegetables like spinach, Swiss chard, and they can lower lung cancer. Green tea also helps to keep your lungs healthy. To fight flu or cold, You can have honey. Honey has antioxidant and antibacterial properties, help improve the digestive system and boost immunity. Hot tea is a favorite remedy for different symptoms, especially for colds and flu. Citrus fruit has tons of vitamin C. It has many types of citrus fruits available. And ginger soup can also reduce the fever. To reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Sorry. To reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease, you have this foods that you can take. Turmeric, it's an anti-inflammatory property, can prevent brain inflammation, which is suspected to be one of the leading causes of cognitive disorders like Alzheimer's disease. Green tea, it comes to antioxidant-rich food to improve brain power. Blueberries are also loaded with the antioxidants, which can protect the brain from radical damage. Nuts, consumption of nuts daily has shown to lower the risk of dementia. Also, some research improves the memory. Cinnamon has the ability to clear the buildup of protein in the brain. And usually the buildup of proteins in the brain, it's connected to Alzheimer's disease. And also it can improve memory and other cognitive functions. Seeds like sunflower seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, all contain antioxidants and nutrients like vitamin E, zinc, omega-3, and choline that reduces cognitive decline. Leafy greens, again, kale, collard greens, spinach, and Swiss chard are high in vitamin B, folate, and B9, and can also reduce depression. Osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a bone disease that develops when bone mineral density and bone mass decreases, or when the structure and strength of bone changes. This can lead to decrease in bone strength that can increase the risk of fractures. Your body will take calcium from bones if there is not enough in the blood. By providing enough source of calcium from the food, we can prevent that. Some food that has high content of calcium are like almond, poppy seeds, sesame seed, and chia seeds. They're a health source of calcium and has some important fat for the bone health. Dairy product like soy or almond milk has high content of calcium. Nuts, orange juice also has fortified minerals and vitamins. And broccoli, when you cook broccoli, you want to keep the stem. The calcium is in the stem. Other vegetables are winter squash, edamame, or tofu. They all have a high content of calcium. So we're going to go over some superfoods. Superfood like chia seed are tiny black and white seeds, has high antioxidants. Not only the oxidants protect the chia seeds from going bad, but it also benefits humans by neutralizing molecules like the free radicals molecules. They attack those molecules. Those free radicals can damage cell compounds. If there's a large free radical it can cause fast aging, and it can create what we call cancer cells. The specific antioxidant in chia seeds include chlorogenic acid, caffeic acid, myricetin, quercetin, and camephylol. This is all antioxidants in the chia seeds. These may all have protective effects in your heart and liver, as well as anti-cancer properties. So 1 ounce or 28 grams of chia seeds has close to 10 grams of tartar fiber. So how do you prepare chia seeds? The way I use the chia seeds is basically 1 spoon of chia seed in warm water. Let it sit for a minute or two, and you can just drink it. Not a superfood, it's quinoa. Quinoa is a grain crop grow usually from South America. And those quinoa has been eaten in South America for centuries. When it recently started to be used in the United States and other Western countries. It's super rich in fiber and protein, has a lot of nutrients, and play an important role in helping with fuel our body. It has similar antioxidant and anti-inflammatory quality as the chia seeds, and also protect our body from the free radical cells. By eating quinoa every day, it will prevent disease and also prevent other cancers. So how you prepare one quinoa? So for 1 cup of quinoa, I usually use either 2 or 1¾ cups of water. You cook the quinoa in the water for 15 minutes and let it sit for 10 minutes. And that's it. It's just like a rice. The volume will increase after cooking. And the most important part of cooking quinoa is you need to wash before cooking. The quinoa has a earthly taste if you do not wash well. Avocado. Avocado is also a superfood. Half an avocado provides 29 milligrams of magnesium, or about 7% of your daily suggested diet. Magnesium plays a role in regulating blood pressure and blood sugar. So avocado provides fiber. Also, it's a healthy heart polysaturated and monosaturated fat. So where do I use avocado? I use a spread for the bread. Instead of using butter, I use the avocado as my spread for the bread. I also cut in cubes for the salad, or you can also eat avocado as whole. Not the seed, just the inside the avocado. Not a superfood is pomegranate. Pomegranate. Recently, I found out that they're available year round, so easy to access. We want to only eat the seeds, and I have learned how to cut in a way that it's easier for me to pop out the seeds to eat them. Berries is also superfoods. Blueberries as top the superfood compared to other berries like blackberries and fresh cranberries, strawberry, or raspberries. It's full of fiber and antioxidants, keeps the brain healthy, and prevents Alzheimer's disease, and lower the risk of diabetes. Broccoli lowers the risk of cancer, prevents heart attacks and stroke. Full of fiber, keep our bacteria guts in check. Reduce and prevent digestive congestion such as ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. Unfortunately, broccoli got a bad reputation because our former president, George Bush, said something about not liking broccoli. If you remember from a recent presentation by Assistant Jean Cito, we need to be careful what we say. The rituals of mouth. Imagine what the little kids would see when your president mentions that he does not like broccoli. So we need to be careful on what items of vegetables that we don't like in front of the kids. Mushrooms are also superfood. Has been used for many years as a superfood. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's used to cleanse the body and promote longevity. It has high antibacterial, antioxidant, and anti-inflammatory properties, like B vitamins, B2, B3, folate, and B5. It has a high content of phosphorus, vitamin D, selenium, copper, and potassium. How do I prepare my mushroom? I can grill them. I can also eat them raw with the salad. There's a dish that you can use saute with the red wine, balsamic vinegar, and add some oregano. As simple as that. In a few minutes, you have a nice mushroom dish. Dark leaf greens, like arugula, kale, collard greens, spinach, lettuce, cabbage, turnip, bok choy, and sweet chard. They are very easily available in the market. The darker the color of the vegetable, the more nutrients it has. They are called the microgreens. The role is in preventing colorectal cancer. The vibrant colors from chlorophyll keeps plants healthy, and the dietary fiber found in the dark greens can decrease the risk of colorectal cancer. Yeah, also has carotenoids. It's another type of plant pigments, and also act as an antioxidant. It can prevent free radical cells from promoting free radical from the body. It can also reduce risk of obesity, heart disease, and high blood pressure and mental decline. Microgreens are immature greens produced from the seeds of vegetables and herbs. Most of them can be cooked by quick stir fry, and many of them can be eaten raw. Whole grains. We want to choose whole grains over refined grains. Brown rice is the whole grain and has more fibers and nutrients over the white rice. White rice is the refined form of the whole grain. So if you had to choose between those two, choose the brown rice. Brown rice requires more time to soak in the water compared to the regular white rice because of the shell. It's a little thicker. You probably want to let it soak as to 20 minutes before cooking like the regular rice. Other grains like bulgur wheat, oats, buckwheat, farro, and quinoa, they're all packed with high fiber, high antioxidants, and vitamins. So let me share one dish that I usually cook. I make soba noodles probably once a month over the summer. It's very simple procedure. I use buckwheat noodles with the sauce. I learned this soba by watching some of the Japanese videos how to cook. So buckwheat noodles usually cooks in about 5 to 7 minutes. The sauce can be made ahead of time. I use 1 cup of soy sauce, half cup of medium is vinegar and sugar liquid, and 1.5 cup of water. I also use a thick dried seaweed, wash well, cut in strips. Cook all together for about 20 minutes. Thicker seaweed probably would take 30 minutes. You can let it, once it cool down, you can let the sauce sit in the refrigerator for a couple months. You mix a little wasabi with the sauce, and you dip the noodle in the sauce, and you can eat it. You can also add a grated ginger and grated radish to the sauce to taste better. Citrus fruits, also superfoods. You have a lot of choices: grapefruit, orange, lemon, limes. They all have a high contents of fiber and vitamins, low in calories, and high water content. Kimchi and kombucha, they are superfoods as well. They also have probiotics. Probiotics can prevent inflammatory conditions. Kimchi, kombucha, kefir, miso, sauerkraut, and yogurt are all fermented foods that are rich in probiotics. We need probiotics because they are health bacteria, and our body needs a lot of this bacteria to keep breaking down the food that we consume. Kimchi and kombucha are short period storage of food. I can explain how the kimchi is made. So for some reason I have the kimchi here repeating again, how to make kimchi. Okay, repeat one more time, make sure I made it correctly. You cut 1 napa in small pieces, you cut in 1/4, salt, dry rub or in between leaves. Let it sit in the salt for 15 minutes to 20 minutes. You can also soak in salt water and let nap soak for about 2 to 3 hours, because if you use the salt water, it takes longer to extract the water from the napa. You can wash the excess of salt from the napa 2 or 3 times with the running water. If you want a more saltier napa, you can just wash it once. But if you want a less salt, you can wash 3 times. If it's soaking in the water, salt, you don't need to wash it off. It's very light. Dark chocolate, it's also superfood. It can reduce stress, has high contents of antioxidants, prevent cancer, promotes healthy heart and weight loss. 1 or 2 ounces served of dark chocolate of 70% cacao a day may will have health benefits, improve cognition and prevents memory loss and boosting mood. Sweet potatoes, like carrots, beets, Cornish potatoes, and yams, have they're very nutritious, easy to grow, has an exceptional long lifespan. They contribute to prevent diabetes, obesity, cancer, and other health conditions, and they are gluten-free. These root vegetables that has been sustaining human life for hundreds of years. One bud of potato can grow dozens more. Some potatoes can last months if you store properly. Root vegetables are packed with the healthy carbs and starches that promote energy. You can store these root vegetables in dark, dry place. Next one, beans and legumes. Beans and legumes has high in proteins. They're low in saturated fats. Beans like chickpeas, edamame, lentils, peas, has many other beans. They are high content of nutrition and proteins. How do I prepare my beans? Okay, I make vegan chili once a month. I usually use 3 types of beans. I always use the black beans. Then I mix the other type of beans like kidney beans, black beans, black-eyed beans, and other beans I can find in my pantry. I also add lentils, chickpeas, 2 cups of mixed vegetables with the corn, peas, and carrots, 1 green pepper, any color. I put cumin, paprika, red pepper, hot dry pepper, cayenne pepper. I try to use fresh tomatoes. If I don't have fresh tomatoes, 2 cans of tomatoes. And let it cook for about 20 minutes on the pressure cooker. I think it's set to 30 minutes because they have a setting there that to cook beans. And after 30 minutes, let it sit for another 10, 15, and you got your chili. I do this once a month. Lentils. It's also a superfood. It's a good source of proteins, has high fiber, iron, potassium, and manganese. Lentils are low in sodium and saturated fat, high in potassium, fiber, folate, and plant chemicals called polyphenols that have antioxidant activity. They're cheap, easy to store, easy to cook, and there are many types of lentils. Okay, here, how do I cook lentils? Well, I usually soak for about 1 to 2 hours. You don't have to soak. By my preferences, I like them soft, so I soak them 1 to 2 hours. For soup, I add mixed vegetables like carrots, greens, peas, and corn, 1 small potato, diced tomatoes, vegetable stock, salt, turmeric, coriander, cumin. Cook for 30 to 40 minutes. In the end, I add lime juice to get the flavor. Or you can cook lentil as a dish. I use 1 cup of lentil, 2 teaspoons of coriander, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 spoon of curry powder, fresh tomatoes, and in the end, I add coconut cream. Usually add 8 ounces. I don't like a lot of cream, so I usually use only the half of the can. You cook for about 30 minutes, and you have lentils as a meal. So how you want to assemble superfoods? Basically, you want a variety of them in the portion size as well. You don't want all in one type or too many of one color. You want to have a multiple color, like a rainbow meal. Today, when you go out there, you're going to find all kind of power bowls or superfood bowls. You can name it, it's there. If you go to Chipotle, they have their own bowl now too. Basically, it's a mix of multiple colors of food. So you want to include as many minerals and vitamins from different sources. A complete balanced meal in a single bowl. Try to add 5 different colors for each meal: yellow, red, green, white, black, and blue if you have it. Try different combination each time. So are these foods sustainable? Unfortunately, many of these superfoods are not sustainable. Some of them are require a lot of water and land to grow. But there are ways to grow them better. It takes time to teach the farmers how to grow these superfoods better. And there are programs promoted by the bigger company to grow this food. So instead of not buying the food from the supermarket, we can help the environment in different ways. We can reduce the water usage or use recycled rainwater. I myself have a 50-gallon water barrel collecting water from my garden. It costs about $40. And I store the water and use my garden. And you want to make sure the tank is empty over the winter. Usually those barrels will not, and they're not good for the cold weather. So because these superfoods are not sustainable and we don't want to stop buying them, there are other options that we can do to help the environment. So another thing we can do is reduce, recycle, and reuse. The food that we don't eat, we can use this as compost. And using this compost, we can grow our own vegetables. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to go quick on this one. There are a lot of bad foods. Usually those bad foods contain high content of sugars and carbohydrates. We want to avoid them as much as we can. And, in addition to eating healthy, we need to exercise. The best we can do is walk at least 30 minutes per day. By moving our body, we consume the sugars that it's in the food. Any excess of food that our body is not consuming, they'll be turned into fat. So we want to eat limited amount of food, be able to consume or use all the calories that we consume in one day. So this is the items that are in my pantry. I have a mixed types of beans. I have black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, lentils, split peas, white beans. There are probably more, but I didn't list them here. Again, beans are easy to store and they're cheap. I also have organic chia seeds and quinoa. I have one bag of brown rice, dry cranberry, low sugar. I have dates, goji berry, buckwheat noodle, dry seaweed, cans of tomatoes, cans of black beans, chickpeas. Those are just for emergency in case I don't have time to cook and have something in the can to make something. My seasonal ingredients, I have salt types, like too many of them. I have sea salt, pink salt, fine salt, coarse salt, iodized salt. Say it, I have it. I also have a whole and ground white pepper and session peppercorns. I have a large bag of coriander powder, one large container of cumin powder. I'll have 2 types of curry powder because they are made from different countries. I have a large bag of white spice powder, which has a cinnamon, Eddison, cumin, fennel, and cloves. I use that pretty often. I also has a collection of seeds from sesame, aniseed, cumin, fennel, coriander, green cardamom, and clove seeds. I also have a mix of Italian spices like oregano, basil, sage, rosemary, thyme, dill, and parsley. I also have bay leaves, dry and ground whole peppers. If I said anything incorrect, I ask the forgiveness of Saints and Buddhas and everyone here.